So, folks, I recently learned that the Democrats have a YouTube channel, which I don't know why that would be surprising to me, but like it genuinely is surprising to me. The Democratic Party has a YouTube channel, and well, it's pretty lackluster, to say the least. Literally, my videos get more views than some of theirs, and I'm not a big channel here, guys. Yeah, they don't upload very often. It's honestly just shocking to me how bad the channel is. But I went and looked at their live shows because they actually live stream all the time. And I really can't emphasize enough that my live streams, the live streams we do here, are literally 2 to 3 times bigger than their live streams. My live streams are 2 to 3 times bigger than the Democratic Party's live streams. Do you have any idea how insane that is? I have 13,000 subscribers. They have 85,000, which is insanely low for one of the two major parties in America. And I get more views on my live streams. God, they're such losers. And, well, let's just take a look a little bit at, like, what are they putting out there in these live streams? You know, a 3-minute live show, I guess. They started about 2 weeks ago, you'll notice, putting out these kind of like podcast episodes, and it's the vibes are really, really weird, okay? But one of the things I thought would be interesting to talk about, right, would be the first live stream that the Democratic Party has done with a man. You see, the Democratic Party has invested $20 million into figuring out how to create the perfect Joe Rogan of the left. And clearly, we're going to be seeing their trial run of that idea in the first live stream of a man on their YouTube channel, right? So let's take a look, Let's take a look. What is the cult totem? It's a plugin for a game called Cult of the Lamb. We'll go back and play that at some point as a stream. It helps in game. It's fun. Also, I'm on the front page right now. That's pretty cool. Hi, front pagers. Well, let's take a look here.
Makes perfect sense to me. We get actual action points here. Not bullshit. Let's be more centrist drivel.
Whoa. Sorry, you're blue. Okay, we haven't seen the Democrats live stream. Okay, maybe it's radical. Maybe it's a call to action. Maybe it has something for us. Maybe it will be inspiring. Raising up a generation of Zoran Mamdanis. Maybe. Let's see.
That the Planned Parenthood organization cannot sue South Carolina over its decision to pull Medicaid funding because the group provides abortions.
Yesterday's Supreme Court decision has devastating repercussions for women's access to reproductive care, while opening the door to attacks on health care covered under Medicaid. At the Supreme Court and in the halls of Congress, Medicaid is under attack, jeopardizing the health care of millions of Americans. And Donald Trump and Republicans couldn't care less. I'm Curtis Bradley Brown, your host for today, Friday, June 27th, and this is the Daily Blueprint.
Oh, okay. I've now seen enough to form an initial opinion, and my initial opinion is that this is shit. This is nothing. No shade on this guy. I don't know anything about him, but like, let's just real quick, okay? Number one, what is this set? Guys, my set is nothing to write home about, but it at least has, I live here. This is a lived-in space. I use it. It's authentic. This looks like an awkward corner of The Office. And if I'm being completely honest with you, this looks like AI-generated content to me. And I know it's not. I know it's not, because that would imply that Democrats are, able to use modern technology, But let's just look at a couple of the set dressings here, because one, it's not a good look if you're going to have like a screen showing the logo of your show to have it be way over there. That doesn't work, you know? Like, it needs to be more visible. It looks like a liminal space. Is he filming this in the back rooms? You know?
I'll sit on my hands and let them cook, but I'm pretty sure it's a potluck where everyone either leaves hungry or with some salmonella.
Oh, God. Yeah. Sorry, you're blue. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Decoder, thank you very much for the Prime sub. I appreciate it. But it does, Paladin, you are absolutely right. This is reminiscent of the Daily Wire's like attempt to knock off NPR, but somehow this is shittier and fewer people care about it, which is impressive considering how few people care about the Daily Wire's NPR knockoff. For sure. But like, part of what's important if you're gonna have like a live streamed show is to be able to build a sense of either professionalism, like you want to go all out, give them like the set with the table and like the props and all that, or you want to go for genuine authenticity, right? And this looks like they tried to go for authenticity, but like missed the mark so utterly and completely, right? They're like, okay, we'll put a bullshit plant in the background, and well, you need a mug of water, so we'll have the Democrat mug. And, you know, you have to have a sticker on your laptop. All the podcasters these days have stickers on their laptops, so I vote for Democrats. And some blue glasses, because God forbid you have anything that isn't associated with blue, because it's called the Daily Blueprint, am I right? Like, this is bad. It's just bad. And then not only do you have like all of this stuff over here, you just have like this huge amount of empty space off to the side, and it's just like, well, and I know I'm nitpicking here. I know I'm nitpicking a lot about this presentation, but then keep in mind that this is being made directly by the like one of the largest political machines in the world, one of the largest and best funded political machines in the world, not just in the country, in the world, and they're doing this. This is on their own YouTube channel. You could make this, like, genuinely, I could make this set on a budget of like $0. Hey. All right, let's see the actual content.
Bradley Brown, your host for today, Friday, June 27th, and this is the Daily Blueprint. Yesterday, we went over how Democrats are fighting back against the ugliest parts of Trump's big, beautiful reconciliation bill.
Okay, I was trying not to be like mean, but I do dislike his haircut a lot. It's not good. Still feels realer than the fake man caves. I don't know about that one.
And if you need a refresher, reconciliation is a specific legislative tool that focuses on the budget. Most importantly, reconciliation bills only need 50 votes in the Senate to pass instead of the usual 60, making it a sneaky way for Trump and MAGA Republicans to push through their dangerous agenda. The Senate's on track to begin voting on the legislation this weekend, with House passage potentially as early as next week. And Democrats are fighting to stop Trump's big, ugly bill. With Democrats leading the charge, the Senate parliamentarian, the person who determines...
Also, this is not off the cuff. He's reading a script. He's reading a script, man. Like,
what bill with next week? And Democrats are fighting to stop Trump's big, ugly bill.
Like, one of the most insufferable things for me is the mainstream Democratic way of trying to attack certain things, where it's like, it's not a big, beautiful bill. It's a big, ugly bill. And then they act like they just like got like such a good dunk that they need to high five all of their friends about it. And it's not like, yes, the bill is bad, but your attempt to dunk on it is also bad. Like, honestly, it would be way better if you just said, yeah, this bill fucking sucks. You know, like just just, I don't know, just like actually hate it for real.
With Democrats leading the charge, the Senate parliamentarian, the person who determines what makes it into the bill or not, struck down a number of Republicans' attacks on Medicaid, including a backdoor plan they had for an abortion ban. So this is huge. It could save millions of Americans from losing access to health care. Here's the top Democrat.
Wow, thanks, Chuck Schumer. Truly our strongest warrior. Like, what the hell? Fuck Chuck Schumer.
On the Senate Finance Committee, Ron Wyden, explaining what some of this means.
Overnight, my staff on the Finance Committee got several of the horrible provisions removed from the bill. The first...
Also, like, okay, real quick. If you are going to have, like, an official Democratic Party live stream show, right? And you're going to put money into it, maybe have Ron Wyden, like, come onto that show like it's a real talk show. You know? Like, instead of having him awkwardly stand there with absolutely zero riz and no one to bounce off of, maybe just put him on your podcast show. You see a Make-A-Wish cameo? Holy shit. Oh, God.
Is a special Medicaid tax. Stripping it keeps the Republicans from cutting billions in Medicaid.
You know what's really infuriating about all of this? Do you guys want to know what's really infuriating about all of this? Do you remember earlier this year when Chuck Schumer fucked everyone by, instead of blocking this bill, he just kicked the can down the road to September? Do you guys remember? Now, like, we're expected to, like, thank Chuck Schumer and the Senate Democrats for doing all this shit when, like, Chuck Schumer could have put a stop to all of this months ago by just holding firm. Instead, what he did was he bartered away the ability to stop this bill in exchange for hollow, empty gestures of making amendments that aren't going to be accepted by the Republican majority. God, is this video from 2022? No.
And to no one's surprise, Republicans are sore losers. They're pissed off. They won't stop fighting.
No, they're not. Like, they aren't losing. They already won. Man, like, there are some good things that are happening as a result of, like, the Senate parliamentarian right now, but they are not being driven by Chuck fucking Schumer.
Fighting over provisions they want stuffed into the bill. And they're even calling on the Senate parliamentarian to be fired.
What I'm about to say, I do not say lightly. I don't like having to say it, but it needs to be said. The Senate parliamentarian, Elizabeth McDonough, needs to be fired. She needs to be fired by our Senate Majority Leader, Senator Thune.
The Senate parliamentarian's just doing her job. It's a nonpartisan position, and Republicans want her fired just because she didn't do what they wanted her to do. But Democrats aren't falling for these political games. Here's Congressman Robert.
Also, my understanding is that when the Senate parliamentarian, like, makes a ruling on something, it then means that, like, if you want to add that to the bill, it takes 60 votes, right? In this particular circumstance. So when Chuck Schumer is like, we stood firm and we stopped them, what he's really saying is that the parliamentarian ruled that it needed 60 votes, and like they Democrats didn't vote for the obviously horrible thing. And then he's expecting, like, a pat on the back about it.
People are aroused. I haven't seen people so aroused in a very, very long time.
God, what an asshole.
Garcia talking about what's at stake.
I think the Senate's finding out what we in the House, the Democrats already know. This is a horrific bill, much of it unconstitutional. A lot of it will not pass through the parliamentarian. And the Senate now is struggling with this idea that what this actual bill is trying to do is to rip away health care for 16 million Americans. It's trying to take away food assistance for low-income families across the country. And the parliamentarian is right to strip out these provisions. And we're going to see what the Senate's going to try to do. But at the end of the day, every American should know that this bill is all about taking away health care and then giving away a huge wealth transfer to the richest people in this country.
And while Republicans continue to push Trump's attacks on Medicaid through Congress, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt confirmed what Americans have known all along. Donald Trump couldn't care less about if you have health care or not. Let's take a listen.
If the final bill that the president's been talking about comes to him and it has Medicaid cuts in it, will he sign it, or would he rather just Congress do away with those cuts?
I think our friends in both the Senate and the House know exactly where the president stands on Medicaid. He wants to get rid of the waste, fraud, and abuse, and they are working to do that in the Senate right now.
See, she couldn't even say whether or not Trump would veto Medicaid cuts. Despite the facts we know, Trump is lying through his teeth about his plans to gut Medicaid.
And we're going to also cut costs. We're cutting $1.7 trillion in this bill, and you're not going to feel any of it. And your Medicaid is left alone. It's left the same. Your Medicare and your Social Security are strengthened. We're not cutting. The Democrats are going to destroy all three of them because it's not sustainable. They'll end up cutting your Medicare, Medicaid in half.
Mr. President, we call bullshit. Donald Trump and Republicans are only worried about themselves. If we lose our health care, so what? They don't care as long.
The issue that I'm having here is that this is very clearly scripted, and it just comes across as so goddamn fake. It just comes across as so fake. Like, listen to his delivery here.
They're going to destroy all half.
Mr. President, we call bullshit. Donald Trump.
Like, I'm sorry. I've heard people say bullshit before, and this isn't coming from a genuine place. Sorry, I don't believe that bullshit.
Republicans are only worried about themselves. If we lose our health care, so what? They don't care. As long as their billionaire buds are happy, they're good. Democrats, on the other hand, are standing up and fighting back to protect our health care from getting cut. And the Trump administration's also busy taking an axe to Social Security's workforce. And it's starting to show. Earlier this month, the Social Security agency stopped publicly reporting its processing time for benefits, the 1-800 number's current call wait time, and other really important performance metrics. There are millions of Americans who rely on Social Security, and these delays on top of the staffing shortages from the DOGE cuts earlier this year, they're going to drastically affect their ability to receive benefits. Let's take a listen to Representative Judy Chu from California on how it has been affecting her community.
Since the beginning of this administration, more than 7,000 Social Security Administration employees have been fired or forced out. These cuts were done even though SSA was already at a 50-year staffing low, and the result has been disastrous, with countless reports across the country about longer waiting times, backlogs, and delays at SSA. I've heard from constituents in my district who can't get their issues resolved because every time they call, they are...
That's true, Leland H28. I did change my gender.
...are put on hold for multiple hours, only for the line to eventually just hang up on them.
Democrats have been sounding the alarm on this issue for months, and they're not going to stop. Here's Representative Greg Casar from Texas.
We just learned about a huge news scandal that every senior in America needs to hear about. After Trump and Musk made massive cuts to the staff at the Social Security Administration, they've scrubbed government websites of information about how long it takes to get your phone call answered. They have erased from the websites the delays that it takes to process benefit claims. They have wiped away what used to be publicly available about how long it takes to respond to a 1-800 call at the Social Security Administration. This is a cover-up. And why are they covering it up? Because wait times have exploded. A brave whistleblower just estimated that Trump's changes and Elon Musk's cuts have doubled the amount of time it takes to process a Social Security claim. Everybody needs to hear about it. Social Security is not Elon Musk's piggy bank.
Rep. Casar is right. This is a cover-up.
Like, I'm appreciating the information, but the presentation is quite bad.
The Trump administration is hiding the disastrous effects of Musk's DOGE cuts from the American people. And who is that ultimately hurting? It's seniors, especially in rural areas, who have contributed and worked hard to earn Social Security their entire lives. Senator Elizabeth Warren sums up the current chaos best.
When Elon Musk and Donald Trump come in with a chainsaw and they're firing people and creating chaos, two things happen. The number of mistakes goes up and the people there to help you get them fixed goes down. And that's bad for everyone who counts on Social Security.
See, here's the bottom line. The Trump administration is severely disrupting the Social Security Administration, putting benefits for 73 million working families at risk while giving tax handouts to the ultra-wealthy. And as Senate Republicans continue to decide just how far they're willing to go in cutting essential services like Medicaid, it's more important than ever to remind them that a vote to cut Medicaid will be remembered at the ballot box. Whether it's calling them out online or calling their office, pressure them to vote no. If you live in a state with a Republican senator, text call to 43367. Thank you so much for joining us today for this episode of the Daily Blueprint.
Okay, and that it's done. Okay, bye, bitch. All right. Yeah, my thoughts here are that it seems catastrophically insincere in oh so many ways. I appreciated some of the information, but it's delivered with so much glazing and a lack of critical eye on Democrats that I find it's like, why would anyone ever watch this? You know? Bland and smarmy is a really good way of describing it, Mr. Miyagi. Why is he saying Democrats? Should he be saying we? One would imagine that the official Democrat YouTube channel would in fact be saying we instead of Democrats, as if it's an independent show. Oh my God. Don't blueprints usually entail some kind of plan to build or do a thing? And Quiet Kitsune, excellent point. And there's literally none of that, right? Like, okay, imagine you are in charge of communications from one of the main political parties in a given country, okay? Would you not use that platform to talk about what you as a cohesive political entity are going to do? Because what this entire episode was about was entirely reactive. Right? It's, oh, Republicans did a thing. Here are Democrats reacting to the thing. And I just, you're not reporting the news if you are the Democratic Party's communications arm, right? You're there to talk about what the party is going to do. And what they're doing instead is having like a very bland and snarky presentation of information that you can get from literally countless different like YouTubers or even like podcasters. Like this is, and I understand they've only been doing this for a few weeks now, but like I would imagine you'd hit the pavement with a better plan than shoot it in a corner of the office and that's it. We'll just shit it out there. It feels like an initiative that was set up to fail in the sense that, how do I put this? Very clearly, the reason this is scripted as opposed to an off-the-cuff like conversation between two people or like just, you know, one person ranting at a live audience is because the Democratic Party and communications apparatus is terrified of actual authentic communication, right? Like what they need is a script that can be turned in, edited for maximum glaze potential of Democratic politicians and then put out into the world, right? It's just, it's inauthentic because it demands an obsequiousness that destroys authenticity, you know? And I don't know, like, I've seen what a political apparatus that actually gives a shit and wants to change things can look like through Indivisible, right? Indivisible has like now on their YouTube channel has like training seminars, has like historical like people giving talks on like the historical use of protest and like, you know, people from like the civil rights era opining on like how to comport yourself, what to do, etc. And they also have like weekly updates on, hey, this is what is going on. And we're going to answer questions from you guys because there is all kinds of things happening across the country in ways, you know, interacting in ways that we would like to understand better and, you know, speak to. And it's it is genuine, it is authentic, and it's literally just Ezra Levin and his wife, whose name I'm blanking on at the moment, so sorry. And they're just on webcams, like shitty webcams in unpolished little studios, and it means, yeah, Leah, thank you. It means exponentially more that Leah and Ezra are just like doing the thing, you know, whether or not they have the funding to have a studio. And Democrats just are mired in incompetence and the desire to flatter themselves as this country burns around them. It really is like a fiddling while Rome burns situation. Legitimately, DSA likely has more training materials and videos in our archives than the Democratic Party do, because DSA does have quite a bit. It's embarrassing. Yeah, like genuinely, guys, join your DSA, okay? Join your local DSA. Organize to make your local politics better. Join your local Democratic Party. Organize within the party to oust out the do-nothing Democrats that pervade this system. And also, consider running for office. There is a website, I think it's just called runforsomething.com or maybe .org, where you can put yourself forward as someone who is willing to run for a local office or a state-level office. And they will help you do it, okay? And since Zoran Mamdani won in New York City, they've seen like something along the lines of like 5,000 people sign up to run for something. You guys should also do that, because things don't just magically get better without our involvement. We need to get up off our asses and protest and run for something and organize. Those are kind of the three things that will help us unfuck our current situation. And it requires effort from each and every one of us, okay? What was that fax website again? That was faxzero.com. Let me grab that for you here. Actually, let me check the organize command. Does the organize command work? Ho, ho, ho. Hey, there you go. Oh, it doesn't have fax zero because there was a character limit on YouTube. That's my bad. Here you go. We got to get out there and do shit. Full stop. With that being said, segment done. We did it.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather around. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the scenes. Politics, gaming, plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack.